There's been 7 live-action Transformers films, and now that I've at least briefly talked about each in the past couple videos, I'll be giving you a ranking video on how I see the hierarchy of these films falling. Now, I won't be including Transformers the movie from 1986 because, in my opinion, it is the quintessential Transformers film and would easily be first place. But getting things started in last place, we have Transformers The Last Knight, which will probably come to the surprise of nobody, and this movie is dogshit. Moving on, coming in at number 6 of my ranking, we have Transformers Age of Extinction. And this film started to take the franchise and the characters into directions I just don't feel work very well. Part of what made Optimus and the other Autobots so cool was that they were extremely powerful, yet fought for the betterment of a world that wasn't even their own. But this film introduced the concept of humans hunting Autobots and trying to build our own Transformers, and I just don't think this direction plays out well. The humans turning on the Autobots after saving the world numerous times is kinda dumb, and the concept of Transformium is just flat out stupid. All that keeps this film from falling to last place is that Lockdown is actually a pretty cool and intimidating villain, but this is just a really lazy script and they absolutely fumbled the Dinobots. In 5th place on my list, we have the most recent theatrical release within this franchise, and Transformers Rise of the Beasts. And fan reception to this film was very mixed, and I totally understand why. This isn't necessarily a bad film, I just disagree with a lot of the directions they went with. The time jump of 7 years from Bumblebee doesn't really work for me, as it makes Optimus Prime feel like a really stupid leader for picking Earth as their rendezvous, when they had no way of leaving the planet. Optimus is also such a cold-hearted character for most of this film, and I'm not a big fan of this grumpy old man version of the character. But as far as the positives go, the Bumblebee death did make Scourge feel like a real threat, and he is one of the best villains this franchise has seen, and the human plotlines were alright. Definitely a step up from Transformers 4 and 5, but it did get a little corny towards the end with the whole exosuit, so ultimately this film falls at 5th place. At the middle spot of my rankings in 4th place, we have Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. And I actually think this movie is a little overhated. I know it was written during the writer's strike back in the day, but this film in reality just has the same issues as Transformers 1 and 3. The humor is very juvenile and misses the mark at times, there's yet another magical Transformers object that we're chasing for the whole film, and the dialogue isn't great at times. While some of these issues are heightened a bit by the writer's strike, I actually don't think that this film is far off from Transformers 1 and Dark of the Moon. Getting to see the Transformers working with the military at the start of the film was awesome. Jetfire is another fascinating character, as the idea of Decepticons jumping over to the Autobot side of things is intriguing. And the forest fight was just incredible. If Optimus Prime saying "you'll never stop at one, I'll take you all on" doesn't get you hype, I don't know what to tell you. At the end of the day, is this film classic great cinema? No. But it is a fun action flick, which is always what it was meant to be. Getting the bronze medal of my rankings, at 3rd place I have Bumblebee. And this film has the best opening of any Transformers movie hands down. Getting to see the close of the Cybertron War on screen was awesome. But unfortunately we only get to see this new freedom fighter version of Bumblebee for about 5 minutes, as he gets his voice box ripped out again and loses his memory. Now, while we do get a relatively funny and inoffensive film after this, it's just frustrating to see a reboot of the character that makes Bumblebee into essentially the same exact character he was in Transformers 1 through 3. We're still getting him changing the radio dial for comic relief, he's still got the biatch sign, and he's still loyally attached to a human. While most of the humor hits, I just can't help but feel like I've seen this all before. So while extremely serviceable, I can't rank Bumblebee any higher because of its lack of creativity. And while Charlie is a good character, her connection with Bumblebee just doesn't hit quite the same as Sam and Bumblebee. My runner-up in the second best Transformers film in my opinion is the very first one, in Transformers 2007. And this movie got a lot right. Sam is the best human character this franchise has to offer in my opinion, and his relationship with Bumblebee is definitely the heart and soul of the film. Introducing us to an Autobot that can't speak first was a very smart choice, as it created effective mystery and intrigue around him and the Autobots in general. Now there are certain plot lines, the hacker storyline with Anthony Anderson's character specifically, that just aren't very necessary or well done. But for what fans are looking for when they go to see a Transformers film, this movie definitely delivers it. You have killer action, awesome Optimus Prime speeches, some interesting human characters, and some generally funny sequences. The scene with all the Autobots in Sam's backyard is genuinely hilarious, and for my money, is the funniest scene in the entirety of the franchise. And the ending of this film is just iconic. The combination of Optimus Prime's powerful voiceover and Linkin Park's What I've Done is simply amazing. But this of course means that at my top spot I have Transformers Dark of the Moon. And I would say that for better or for worse, this film is the quintessential Transformers live action film. Yes, it still has some of the corny and juvenile moments of Transformers 1 and 2, but the action sequences here are second to none. I mean, the entire third act is just simply insane and still holds up today. You got a pissed off Optimus Prime fighting Megatron and Sentinel, Bumblebee going toe to toe with Soundwave, and the entire tilted building sequence with our human characters. And for my money, Sentinel Prime is the best written villain of the entire franchise. His betrayal in the scene where he kills Ironhide really shocked me as a kid, and is perhaps the saddest moment in the entire franchise. And Michael Bay just straight up doesn't get enough credit for his camera work. At least in the first 3 films, that is. There's a lot of beautiful shots and long extended shots and sequences that allow us to see the Transformers in all their beauty. And I think that's most apparent in Dark of the Moon. And there you have it, my take on how all the theatrically released Transformers films stack up with one another. If you enjoyed this video and are interested in further explorations of screen stories, please feel free to drop a like and subscribe. If you feel like I missed anything or disagree with some of my placements, I'd love to see your rankings and thoughts in the comments.